Greetings, Israel. Minister Dante Fortson at blackhistoryinthebible.com recently released a blog post that you guys really should read, and we're going to share it here. It's called The Final Juneteenth. All descendants of the Transatlantic slave trade need to read this. Okay, so before I actually share this with you guys, I wanted to just share with you an encounter my brother had today. He went to the dry cleaners to pick up a jacket, and he encountered the owner of the store son, who was a Pakistani. Okay, and they started talking about Trump a bit, and then he said, "They don't like you all because of who you are." My brother said, "Who are we?" And then he said, "You all are the true Israelites." My brother said, "How do you know?" He said, "I have always known." My brother asked if his people knew as well. He said, "Everyone in the Middle East knows this." My brother said, if they know why, then why not tell the world? He stated that they are scared of Satan and his weapons. However, he had a theory that all the Shemitic races will unite and overthrow the Europeans. Okay, so that was very interesting. This Pakistani guy claims that the whole Middle East knows who we are, but they are afraid of Satan. They are afraid of their weapons. Okay, I found that very interesting, so I wanted to share that bit with you guys. But let's get into Minister Dante Fortson's blog post. So you can go to blackhistoryinthebible.com. Okay, and it's titled The Final Juneteenth. All descendants of the Transatlantic slave trade need to read this. Okay, so let's get into it. How many more black men and women do we have to see raped on the side of the road for 11 minutes? Beat in the middle of the street just because, and murdered on film in front of their children before we decide to take a serious look at our options as a people? There's no difference between now and when the slave patrols were gunning our people down in the streets 150 years ago. Maybe, just maybe, if we keep marching, voting, rioting, yelling, burning stuff down, in another 400 years, our great-great-great-great-grandchildren might be able to say cops no longer get paid leave for gunning us down in cold blood because they feared for their life. As a black man, I'm sick of seeing our people murdered for no reason other than hate. As an American, I'm sick of how this country treats the descendants of the people that built it for free. As a Bible believer, I'm sick and tired of praying for it to change and nothing happens. This SHIT has got to stop. Today is Juneteenth, and it's supposed to be the day that the last slaves were emancipated, but that's not true. That's just the story we've been fed to mask the truth. Slavery never stopped. They just made it conditional upon being convicted of a crime, which led to plantations being turned into prisons and laws being created to target black people in order to get convictions. An international built-in legal loophole to keep slavery legal and acceptable to the whole world because we're criminals that deserve to be locked up. Here's a biblical quote. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. What finally pushed me to my limits was seeing D.L. Hughley shed tears on national TV. I've seen a grown man cry before. But as a black people, we often look to comedians to alleviate the pain with laughter by turning messed up situations into comedy. But there's no laughing our way out of what's going on. And after thinking about it for a while, I realized that I've never seen a comedian genuinely cry because there's no joke to be made. When he said it's too much, he summarized everything I'd been feeling but hadn't yet put into words. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Deuteronomy 28:33-34. What I'm about to say to you goes beyond religion, ego, philosophy, and even rationale. We can debate until we get tired of debating about how to fix what's happening to black people in America. But at the end of the day, the system was not built by our people, nor was it built for the benefit of our people. It's time we put aside all of our petty differences, egos, and arguments, because it is a matter of survival for our people. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Lamentations 4:18. What options do we have? As I get older, the more I consider some of the things my grandparents used to say. My grandmother used to tell me to pray, and the Lord works in mysterious ways. I know you have probably heard the same thing all of your life, and quite frankly, it gets old because we've been praying for 400 years with zero results. I know for a fact that God does work in mysterious ways, because even though it goes against all common sense to say this, we are mad, frustrated, confused, hurt, and in all honesty, many of us feel hopeless. But we need to pray for one more year. Just one more year, because here is the straight truth. If the following is just a coincidence, we're effed. I probably shouldn't use that language in a Bible-based site, but there's no other word that will properly convey the emotions I feel when I think about where we are as a people at this point in history. If God doesn't exist and all this stuff is coincidence, then you know that what I said is just about the truth of the matter. It has to be more than a coincidence that a 400-year curse was pronounced on Israel to be enslaved and taken to a strange nation in slave ships. It has to be more than a coincidence that the 13th Amendment has allowed slavery to continue in America for 400 years, aligning with Bible prophecy. It has to be more than a coincidence that Trump signed off on a panel to recognize our 400 years in this country. It has to be more than a coincidence that Jeff Sessions wants black people researching our identity to be investigated. It has to be more than a coincidence that the census now wants to ask black people about our racial origin, which will probably be used to round up the awakened. It has to be more than a coincidence that the internet is allowing our people to uncover parts of our history that link back to Hebrews in the Bible. It has to be more than a coincidence that the 400-year curse pronounced on Israel ends sometime in 2019. If these observations are more than a coincidence, then it means someone bigger is out there watching, but not only watching. He cared enough to warn us in advance and leave us specific instructions on how to put an end to all of this evil when the time is right. We have reached our limit, so the time has to be right because we don't have any other options. The government is not going to save us from this. Barack Obama couldn't or wouldn't save us from this. Economic unity is not going to save us from this. We literally have one promise that was made to our ancestors. Out of all history and religions that I've studied, I've only found one solid promise made specifically to our people. I didn't fully understand the implications of some of these promises until the last year or so, but now is the time to call in that promise. So there's a video, and I'm not going to play it. You guys can go to this blog and watch it. It makes a good point, but it has some vulgar words in the video, but it really gets to the point of the matter, right? And it's from the TV series American Gods. Okay, so when you get a chance, go check out this blog and watch that video. So in reference to the video, Dante says, the above scene from American Gods really hit home when I first saw it. The slaves prayed to the African spider god Anansi, Orlando Jones, to save them, and he showed up. The reason it struck a nerve because that's exactly what our ancestors did, but they didn't pray to an African spider god. They prayed to Yah, the God of the Hebrews, to deliver them from slavery. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Deuteronomy 28:49-50. Many of us suspect that not only are we Hebrews, but everything we're experiencing from slavery to segregation to what we're seeing now happened by design and is referred to in the Bible as the time of Jacob's trouble. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jeremiah 30:7. Part of it was the curse, but some of it seems very well orchestrated to keep us from finding the truth. There is no way that the powers that be don't know who we are or what has been promised to us. They've spent 700 years trying to cover up all truth about the Bible because the truth blows away everything we think we know about everything. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the days long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Deuteronomy 28:32. If the following words are true, then as a people, we have the unique ability to call out to the Most High and get a real response. For what nation is there so great who hath God so nigh unto them as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? Deuteronomy 4:7. There's only one book that tells us that we are special, important, and chosen above all people. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world believes about us, nor does it matter if they approve of us speaking the truth about our origin. We are who we are, whether they like it or not. And because we are who we are, we need to start praying for him to set things right. We don't know the exact date or time. Many of us strongly believe the curse ends in 2019. Our people have to awaken in order for the call to work. We need to spend as much time as possible waking up our people over the next year. If you don't know who to tell people, if you don't know how to tell people, feel free to share anything on this site. If it makes it easier to start the conversation. If they don't want to read, then direct them to Teo on YouTube. Whatever it takes to wake as many to the truth as we can. How did our people end up in this situation? The Most High told our ancestors he was leaving because they kept turning away from him. Once again, we are not left without answers as to why he didn't and still doesn't answer. Israel made the same mistake over and over again. The same mistake we're making now, which is why he did not save our ancestors out of slavery. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face in their affliction. They will seek me early. Hosea 5:15. The offense of our ancestors was chasing after every god other than the Most High. And the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, the Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Maonites did oppress you, and ye cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hand. Yet ye have forsaken me, and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. Judges 10, verses 11 to 14. We can't deny that we as a people are all over the map with religion. We're Christians, Black Hebrew Israelites, Catholics, Mormons, Muslims, Kemet, Wiccans, witches, agnostics, atheists, etc. The pattern in the Bible is Israel messes up by chasing false gods. God saves them. They worship other gods. He sends them into slavery for long periods of time. They pray for him to return. He saves them, and the cycle starts again. We're coming to the end of the last cycle. And he said unto Abram, Know for a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. Genesis 15, verses 13 and 14. This isn't about predicting the return of Christ in 2019, because that's most likely not what's going to happen. Many people acknowledge that slavery started in 1619 in America, including President Trump. Many also understand that the 13th Amendment never ended slavery and just made it conditional on being convicted of a crime. The awakening is all about us knowing the following. Someone, for lack of a better word, out there that gave us instructions and is waiting for us to call him back soon. Someone that cares about what is happening to us right now and is willing to step in and put a stop to it if we swallow our pride as a nation, admit wrong, and call him back. We have a way to make sure our grandchildren's grandchildren grow up in a different world in the most literal sense of the phrase. The Bible contains a complete instruction manual on how to call back the Most High to set things right. Feel free to look in any religious book, text, manual, etc. that you want. There are no other books in existence that have specific instructions on how to call the creator of the universe. There are plenty of books on conjuring, ghosts, spirits, angels, and demons, but the Bible is the only one that provides several sets of instructions meant for a specific people to contact the most powerful being in the universe. But unlike witchcraft, we don't need any special ingredients, spells, or potions. The key to the second coming of the Messiah has always been and will always be us, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, scattered worldwide. We don't know this because we've allowed European preachers and teachers to dictate what we believe about the Bible and the people in it. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in 4 countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. Zechariah 10:9. Black people worldwide are starting to suspect and believe that we are not who they say we are. Some believe we're Native American, some believe we're Hebrews, and some even believe we're Egyptians. But we all agree that we've been lied to about our origin, and that's our common ground. We all feel triggered to seek out who we are, even though we don't share the same belief system. Coincidence? Many of us talk about finding our identity, history, etc., but our eyes have been blinded to what has been right in front of our face this entire time. The very book that we've come to believe is of European origin is actually our book that was taken from our ancestors, rebranded, and claimed as their own. This has been the European pattern and strategy for thousands of years. They can fool as many men and women as they want, but they can't fool the Most High. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Deuteronomy 28, verse 66. Promises were made and have to be kept. We can't force the Most High to keep any of his promises. But if he is who he says he is, then he has to keep them because he doesn't lie. Numbers 23:29. The following instructions on how to call back the Most High can be found scattered all over the Bible. But they aren't written to the world. They're specifically written to true Israel for the purpose of ending our captivity in the last days in a land that is not ours. Instruction set number 1. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. Leviticus 26, verse 40 to 42. Instruction set number 2. If thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Deuteronomy 7, verses 17 to 19. Instruction set number 3. And say ye, save us, O God, our salvation, and gather us together, and deliver us from the heathen, that we may give thanks to thy holy name, and glory in thy praise. 1 Chronicles 16:35. Instruction set 4. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me, and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, And I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord. And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Jeremiah 29, verses 12 to 14. And finally, instruction set number 5. For thus says the Lord unto the house of Israel, seek me, and ye shall live. Amos 5:4. Promise number 4 is the most clear cut of the 5. All we have to do is call out to him as a nation, and he'll listen. What makes this the most interesting set of instructions is that it's a promise to turn away the captivity and regather his people out of all nations. The only reason there would even be a need to write that is if his people had been enslaved, scattered into all nations, and were still living as legal slaves in the land of their captivity. See the 13th Amendment again if you still believe that it ended slavery. The transatlantic slave trade was the only slave trade in history to scatter people worldwide. And Negroes are the only people that it happened to. There is no doubt in my mind that if we start calling out to the Most High, he'll hold up his end of the bargain. We as a people need to pray every day like our lives depend on it. And if you've been watching the news, then you are aware that they do. Obama, a black man with a father from Kenya, made it to what many believe is the highest office in the world, but definitely in America. And he couldn't do much to help us as a people. He didn't even try, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if you believe he couldn't or didn't want to. Either way, it didn't happen. We as black people need to face our reality. If the highest office of a man can't help us, then we need to go higher than man and reach out to the Most High. When they go low, we go high. May not have been intended for this, but it sure is fitting. Don't worry about what name to call out to. Just pray to the Most High, the highest of all. Only one can be higher than all others. Even if you don't believe, pray anyway as a show of unity. Even if you decide to keep your participation to yourself. Pray daily from now through 2019 because the 400-year curse ends sometime in 2019. We just don't know the exact dates, which aren't important anyway. If you're committed to praying, please share this page. Don't just like it and move on. If you're not sure you want to pray with us, please bookmark this page so you can return it to the next time you see one of our innocent brothers or sisters murdered on film and the cops rewarded with a paid vacation. If you're curious about who we really are as a people, please read the following list of studies that will help lead you to the truth of our origin. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. Zechariah 11, verse 15. So, we Tail Ministries, along with Minister Dante Fortson, are calling on you guys, on the Israelites, and even you guys of other religions who don't know who you are, whether you're Catholic or Muslim, Protestant, and you are a Negro descendant of slaves, you are the true Hebrew Israelites. We are calling on you guys to pray as outlined in this blog, to pray daily to the coming of the year 2019, which from all signs appears to be the coming of the end of our captivity. We're calling on you guys to pray. We're calling on you guys to spread the message and share it with every Hebrew you know who we are. And so Tail Ministries has a goal of doing this as well and reaching our people by writing books and doing more videos. And we're asking for your support at Patreon. Right, patreon.com/Teotw. Teotw. So for those who want to support our efforts, we want to provide you guys with our true history, right, by working on a history book and by putting together a prophetic book that outlines the true prophecies of the scriptures concerning the true people of Yah. Okay, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/Teo Ministries so that we can do this. And also, please support Minister Fortson at ministerfortson.com and blackhistoryinthebible.com. Dante's information is extremely valuable, well researched, and highly articulate. He delivers his lessons with much intelligence and careful research. So we ask you guys to give us your support. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Let's pray. Let's keep praying daily till 2019.